In September 2021, 20 years after the start of the War on Terror, Americans seem to be reliving Saigon all over again, as Kabul airport thronged with desperate people scrambling to get out, amid the Taliban's rapid takeover of Afghanistan. Bombs and a drone attack left scores of civilians dead. Taliban fighters showed off their new US helicopters and took journalists on visits to the dire Tora Bora prison complex, scoring win after propaganda win. At home, President Joe Biden was under siege. His failure, it seemed, was complete. Yet for all the noise about collapse and Biden's Saigon, failure, as in Vietnam, had been years in the making. Since the occupiers had entered the country in 2001, tens of thousands of Afghans had died, and many more had been driven from their homes, while casualties were adding up for NATO with each passing year. The occupiers had ploughed billions into unchecked coffers, fueling corruption and distrust of the state as the promised benefits from military intervention failed to materialise. Among the winners were investors in the machinery of the War on Terror, which up until 2021 had cost some $2.3 trillion in the Afghan-Pakistan theatre alone. Winners from the debacle also included assorted warlords who played a double game with the occupiers, extracting cash and impunity by issuing threats with one hand and offering to remedy them with the other. US officials were gaming the war too, as the confidential trove of interviews known as the Afghanistan Papers showed in late 2019. Even the wildest failures to quell the insurgency could, time and again, be presented as a phony success. More funding could always be found, ranging from the oddest projects, such as spending $486 million on cargo planes that were barely used, to the deadliest ones, such as the deployment of inaccurate B-1 bombers at a cost of $300 million apiece. We didn't have the foggiest notion of what we were undertaking, admitted Douglas Lute, the three-star Army general and Afghan war czar under the Bush and Obama administrations. If the American people knew the magnitude of this dysfunction,